The Washington Building Congress is pleased to present the Craftsman Hall of Fame. This honor is in recognition of enduring commitment, exceptional skill, quality craftsmanship, and extraordinary dedication.
My name's Jimmy Quine, and I was born in Washington D.C., grew up in Wheaton, Maryland.
My name is Fernando Barbosa. I came to the United States when I was 1979, when I was around 9 years old. But in the trade, I started when I was 18 as a helper. So 18, I'm 48, so it's been a while.
My name is Mark Valentine. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. I do bridge work and utility work for a Flippo construction company. After high school, I like carpentry work, so I worked with several people framing and doing trim work on housework. That was probably for about 3 years. A friend of mine said he knew a person who owned a construction company, which was Earl Flippo, who owned and founded Flippo Construction. So I met Mr. Flippo, explained to him that I did housework and I was a hard worker. And he said that we need good help, but we don't build houses. We do bridge work and utility work. So I said, well, if you give me a chance, I'll give it a try. 34 years and 4 months later, I'm still here at Flippo Construction.
I left Portugal when I was 9 years old. So then I came over here to school, and so I dropped out when I was 16. My parents told me, well, you drop out, you gotta go to work. Then you gotta pay rent. So I started on concrete, then I became a helper in the union, local 31 at the time. Then they offered me an apprenticeship with tile, became a tile set apprentice, and I became a stonemason apprentice with Harmon. We left Harmon. I went to work for Boatman for a little bit. Then I worked also for Independence at the FDR Memorial. I was there probably a year. Then I worked for Brady. I was with them for like 8 years, 9 years. Then I went to Portugal for 4 years, came back, worked for Rugo now for 7 years. So it's been up and down a little bit, but.
At 19 years old, I joined the local 602 steam fitters. And I started my apprenticeship. I worked for Poole & Kent for my first 3 years of my apprenticeship, and then I left them and went on to work for John J. Curlin, and I've been with them for now 37 years. Tyson's Corner Marriott was really the big first job I did when I got there. It was about a month after I got there. And the foreman, John Slattery, I worked with like his right-hand man for most of the job. And then he moved on into the company office side, and I took over the hotel. So I really went from apprenticeship to being a foreman right away. So I've run over 37 jobs in my 37 years with Curl. So my whole life I've run work.
Well, I was hired as a carpenter, and in '82 is when I started. And I believe it's after 2 to 3 years, they kept asking me to buy a pickup truck because they wanted me to run a crew. And I said, I really don't want to run a crew. And they said, well, we want you to run a crew. You'll be a working foreman. So basically for the next 27 years, I was a working foreman running a crew.
With this trade, you gotta, weather conditions and everything, you can't be all like, in the wintertime, I wanna be inside because it's nice and warm, or in the summertime, I wanna be inside because it's nice and cool. You gotta take it all. You gotta take the cold, you gotta take the heat, you gotta take the rain, snow. But they gotta put that in their minds, and this is what I want to do. If they don't think like that, then that ain't gonna work too good.
Drafting, we had, back in those days, we drew everything by hand. Now it's all CAD operated BIM systems, so it's the change in the industry has really changed a lot.
Oh, it's definitely physically demanding. Trench work is harder when you got shoring boards to lift in the hole. If they're too big, of course you use a machine to put them in the hole, but that's strenuous work. And bridge work, at tight spots, you gotta manhandle forms, and it's physically demanding.
The helpers that work with me all the time, I always tell them, I know people want to do speed. To work fast right away. So first you gotta try to make the job look nice. Speed you pick up speed later on, but you always try to get the job done, a nice job.
I've always been an early bird. I was always in the shop at 5 o'clock.
Up at 4:15 in the morning. I always get at least a half an hour earlier to the job site. It's always been like that.
My day starts at 1:30 in the morning when I get up. When I leave for work, I usually get there around 2:45, 3 in the morning, and my day is to open up the shop every morning, and which I've done for over 9 years.
I like working on floors. I mean, that's the main thing. Everybody knows that. I like working on floors. Well, I like working on walls too, marble walls. I mean, I like when it's something nice with nice finish to it. I mean, real small joints, stuff like that. I mean, there's exterior stonemasons and there's interior. I like the interior better because it's more challenging to where you can leave a nice job.
I believe the toughest job was there was 2 circular manholes in the city of Alexandria, and one was 17-foot diameter, one was 15-foot diameter. Both of them were, my crew excavated them, shored them, and poured the walls. And it was around an existing 60-inch sewer pipe. And then we had precast on site the concrete invert for both those structures after they cut the pipe out. And one of the inverts weighed 101 tons and the other one weighed 66 tons. And that was probably the most challenging job, and I was very proud when the structures went down that hole and fit.
Well, one of the worst jobs I've ever worked at was at NIH Building 10. You know, a job I thought it was going to be a nice 40-hour work week, and find out I'm there, you know, 7 days a week, 12-hour days, a lot of people, 2 shifts, 3 shifts, you know, organizing everything. You know, they told me that, you know, we might have to do like 10 or 12 shutdowns for this whole job. 365 shutdowns we had to do on that job.
The one I liked the best was the 3 bridges at C&O Canal. It was in historic Georgetown. It was over the historic canal. We had to keep the canal walls intact while doing the bridges. That was a really good job. That was a nice job.
My father was probably the biggest influence on me about going to work. You know, he was always a big believer, never to be late, always show incentive, want to always appreciate what you do for your career. And he said, you know, and people will always admire you for that, and not think about yourself, think about the other people you can help. So it was never me thinking about me, it was about who works for me.
I have a trowel it used to be a bricklayer's trowel, but it used to be big. Now it's half its size because I've been using it for the last 15 years or something like that. So now it's half the size, so everybody makes fun of me because of that. But I love that trowel.
It's a really good feeling to be recognized for what you've done. And it's really good to know that people are actually looking at the work that you have done and that they appreciate it.
The Craftsmanship Award, I think it's a great thing they have, because, you know, it's not just a one-person award, it's a group of people who have done a great job on that, and they're, you know, you don't really get to see them mentioned much, and here's one opportunity where you get to come out and all your peers are out there to look at you. There's general contractors, there's owners, your own contractor yourself, and, you know, it's like a pat on the back, thank you for doing a great job, and everyone here today is here to say thank you.
It makes you feel better because it lets you know that you're doing something worth to receive that you're doing a nice job. So I think it's very important. I mean, kind of gets you motivated to do a better job, or also somebody's recognizing the kind of work you do.
When I received the phone call, I was just, I didn't know what to say. It was just an incredible feeling that to be recognized for work that I've done in the last 34 years.
It is with great pride that we present the Washington Building Congress Craftsman Hall of Fame Class of 2017.